Hello, hello, hello. You all right? Right, this is not the thing. This is like the beginning. Well, there's a bunch of people who've bought tickets and we're just waiting, so we're going to give it 5 minutes. Is that okay? Yeah. Thank you very much for your patience. Hello. Check that out. Good evening. Welcome to the Roundhouse Slam 2013. Right. The reason they asked me to host is because I don't mess around and I kind of get on with it and I've never run over. So time is of the essence. Who was at the heats? Can I just ask? Just by a show of hands and noise. Okay, right. For anybody who wasn't at the heats, these 12 guys are going to speak at you twice each. And our panel of judges are going to give them a score. And at the end of the night, you're going to get a first, second, and third awards. See them? Right. Colin and Helen David, two fantastic, generous benefactors, have kind of supported the Roundhouse Slam. So it's not just about the cup or the prestige of winning. There's money involved also, right? Which is great because it supports and gives them more time. So check it out. First place tonight will win £500. Second place, I just checked, will win £250. I'm proper Barrymore now, right? Third place will win 150 quid, right? Anyone can win. Anybody can win. That's the point, right? The fact that you're going to arrange your voices, a range of styles. If anyone's got reception by some fluke of luck, please, when you turn your phone on, at least onto silent, please. Just so it doesn't break things when in the proper flow. I go by the name of Polarbear, by the way. I've been running the spoken word course here since 2009, and I'll be your host for the evening. Scoring are slammers. That's what we call them, right? John Berkavitch, please say hello to John Berkavitch. It's so much like a game show all of a sudden. Stephanie Dogfoot. And Zena Edwards. Please come in, we have to start. Please come in, we have to start. Right. Like I said, I'll just crack on. This is streaming live on the internet. So if you're watching now at home, high five yourself for your technical prowess. Well done. And I hope you enjoy the evening as much as we're going to. Are you ready? Yes. Right. Check out my style of introducing. First up, Nicola.
My anxiety feels like being trapped between two sheets of glass, like a two-sided fish tank, which would obviously be a completely pointless invention. But that just adds to the humiliation of being trapped between the walls of your own imagination. I strain my ears and clench my hands and hold my breath. The radiators whir, and I imagine that there's someone there. I listen to the walls. There's a sound like someone's just come in. So I watch the door handle and my bladder pulls my abdomen, and I wait. Frozen with eyes like soup spoons and lips sealed like envelopes. Emily asked me over, but I couldn't face the walk. Couldn't face seeing shadows stretched and hunched up the walls of the factory. Couldn't face seeing someone or no one under the streetlight. Couldn't face trying to walk like a guy just so I can walk the streets at night. Cut back to Rome 2009. Cut back to feeling brave, night walking after a glass of wine with Alice. Cut back to car spaces. Cut back to heart races as rush paces thunder at my shoulder. Can't remember the face now, just bag strap caught and blown over. Dandelion girl, I used to shine like the sun, but his hand pushed teeth and tarmac into my gums. He's speaking in tongues like he's filled with Mephistopheles. My split lip, teeth grit. I can taste iron and bone in my spit. I try to snare air to breathe when my mouth goes to seed. I try to raise the arm with the bag that I freed. It's heavy with books I kept intending to read, and I bring it down hard. Find the contours of his face. Try to cut if I can. Try to smash it till the weight is gone, and I am revealed by car lights in the darkness. And I am running. Eyes so wide they're blind. Mouth so wide it's silent. Dandelion girl, I used to shine like the sun. Now my face has this shadow you can tell the time with. The light fades from it as the sun goes down, until it rises. I can't leave my room.
Nicola! Quick, 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 quick. Quick, quick, quick. Quick, quick. Just ride the applause. Just ride the applause to your chair. Imagine it's yours. Thank you very much, Nicola. Right, just give a second for people to sit down. Right, people at home, what do you reckon? You got to check, right? You got to check, keep people awake. Right, next. It's only Ben.
All right, let's say heaven exists. Let's just say it's a given, because I've only got 3 minutes. Let's say heaven exists and that we're all going. Nice one. Let's say I meet Mozart there. He is 4, the age at which he first toured Europe, playing for the courts and monarchs, when his dad still notated his compositions because he could make music then and didn't have to write it. Let's say in heaven we are whatever age we want to be. Mozart was happiest at 4. Let's say I say to him that he will never write a string quartet, let alone a symphony, and die in abject poverty and footnote faint obscurity at 17. Okay, that was kind of mean, but let's say I say I've never heard of him. He laughs and runs away to play. He doesn't care. He is 4 and in heaven. Let's say I see my nan. She is 1941, a teenager and beautiful. She is sitting, sewing, singing music hall numbers like jingles. Let's say she sees my granddad across a cloud, coyly lowers both her working eyes. They've only been on one date and kissed on the cheek. I know. But she thinks his eyes as deep as the seas he sails. Let's say they walk by and don't speak. Let's say God is not an old white man with a beard, because why would he be? Let's say he is the Pampers baby, or the Andrex puppy. Let's say the squashed moth reassembles, the fallen man unbreaks his limbs. Let's say Gordon Brown grins, because why wouldn't he? And let's say the Queen is just a little girl before it all got so serious. Let's say my other granddad, Tony, is forever almost finishing his canal boat and only conscious of his heart when he's hammering hard or running to meet his sweetheart, Muriel. He doesn't know that what will kill him would be a routine fix if only he'd been there to operate on himself. He doesn't know that he will lie on the towpath, clutching his chest, thinking in the handful of seconds he has left that a lark's about slack definitions came her way. Let's say in heaven we are none of us as we were or will be in our final moments, grotesque with age or bleeding fast or distant to even our spouses. Let's say we're safe as houses, full of beans and right as rain. Let's say the place is crowded, because why shouldn't it be? And let's say I'm on a cloud somewhere, alone, naked, obviously, because it's heaven. Everyone's probably naked. I'm making a wish list, which is topped by Grandad Tony, and disregards Mozart and even Jesus, because I want to hear the stories that no one wrote down. Thanks very much.
Thank you, love. Thank you. Ben! Right, sorry. Just for me, has anyone never been to an event like this at all, ever? Is anyone like in their first one ever? It's all right, isn't it? Sweet. Damola.
So, this is about my name. Yeah. My name is Oluwa Damola. And my mum always taught me not to let anyone mispronounce. You are Damola, not Damola. So let them sing the blessing when they call you. My name forces you to sing, forces rhythm into your mouth and your tongue to dance. And my mother has always been a good dancer. Her hips have always known how to twist and curl in time to the music, a trait she did not pass on to me. So my name does what my hips cannot. My name is Damola, like Taylor. It's November. It's 6 o'clock. It feels like midnight. We're in central London, Mum and I, crossing a road when I see a board screaming at me, Damola is dead. But I'm sure I'm here because I can feel the cold biting into my cheeks. Mum, why does it say I'm dead? Don't be silly. Are you the only Damola in the world? Up until then, yes. I wonder if my mum still had nightmares of a board that announced the death of a Dammy. My name is Dammy. Rarely ever Lola. It's 4 letters and 2 syllables long. No, you can't call me Olivia. I'm not impartial to teaching you how to sing me. Da as in daddy, me as in me. A pair that only knew each other for 11 months and some days, and just days before my 2nd birthday, he died. No, not Demi. My mother, or was it an auntie, once told me, if they can pronounce Schwarzenegger, they can pronounce Damola.
Damilola. Yeah? Alister.
This is about one-night stands, so I'm going to sit down. Tonight, well, if you really don't mind what we do, you could take me to a decent bar where the bar staff's collars are stiff, but they serve smudged glasses with a glint in their eye, while the more self-conscious classes inspect their collective watch. They'd die if they danced as they do in their heads. Their bedrooms bear silent witness to these pollen-directional performances alone. Make it dimly lit with mismatched seating and bar stools for two. Sit beside the wine and tell me stories that linger as the smoke once did. While we ponder when to cut the subtext with our difficult second kiss, you'd leave a mark with your lips that would only partially remain when the next drunkard sips, and when they do, this glass will think of you. As will the barman's tie, it shifts when I catch him catching your eye, disguising his trembling trouser hemline. The smoke gets in your eyes, but you blink it out. The cat's fur puffs your cheeks, and I sink my doubts in a double. The walls are screaming seedy behavior. Your chewing gum must have lost its flavor by now, so why chew it? As if it's the taste that I'll savor when the curtain falls and your shoes get left on the rug. And darkness bathes us in love that will fade with the sun, so scratch deeper, my darling. The sun is rising, sweetheart, and by morning, when cuts have scabbed, this will all seem like a sterile joke. An anecdote saved for intimate parties with your artsy folks. Our memory, your soft exhales fading as you toke and cough and slag off the Tate Modern. The smoke gets in your eyes, but you don't blink. Or what we could do is see Monsters, Inc. 2. I'm easy, really, whatever you want to do.
Alister. Just going to check in with the judges. Judges, how you doing? Ace. Christopher.
Sorry for the nervous pat. I wrote a poem about a wall. It's called Poem About a Wall. You're my second audience. My first audience was my mum on Skype. Take me to the world, she said, where a wall is more than just a four-letter word. Take me to the world, she said again, where a wall is more than just a four-letter word. Wall. Reliable wall. Wall will never let you down. Wall of comfort. Wall of security. Wall overlooked despite its height and majesty. Trustworthy wall. Underappreciated wall. Wall spat on and pissed on. What if all the walls in the middle of the night went on strike? We'd be a planet of abandoned floors and ceilings merged together, collapsed together in an involuntary rubble. We'd all wake up. Oh, sorry. What if we'd all wake up in broken homes, in broken beds, our broken homes and our broken heads are bruised, confused, lost, and homeless. Take me to the world, she said, where a wall is more than just a four-letter word. I've built you a wall, I said. Tall, beautiful, powerful wall. with blocks of Neptune thrown down to me in an astral phenomenal frenzy, each one caught in a large picnic hamper of infinite capacity. And block by block, as it goes up and up, each block comes to life and lights up a different shade of orange, maroon, and green. Each one held perfectly and placed with a sumptuous paste of marmalade, cinnamon, and thick clotted cream, which oozes lovingly over each crevice and is a tasty lick for when you feel a bit peckish. Take me to the world, she said, where a wall is more than just a 4-letter word. Take me to the world, she said, where a wall is more than just a 4-letter word. My wall will be respected. My wall will be grand. My wall will not be built up only to be knocked down. My wall will be hidden somewhere where it cannot be found, deep, deep under the sea, where it can only be found by me. But I'll take you there. I will show you my world where a wall is far more than just a 4-letter word, and we will prop up against its colourful hue and bask in its shadow of warmth and song. Thanks.
Christopher! Oh man, you missed a quarter of it. We're like a quarter of the way through, right? I've been doing this a couple years now. I've hosted this one for 3 years. This is good. No, I'm not. I'm not running over. That's my remit, look. Laurie.
Hello. Right, I need to move around awkwardly. This is called Drunk Dialing. It's one of my classier poems. This is a Euston train via Hammersmith, but tonight I'd go anywhere as long as you're there because I'm drunk and you're a bit of all right. And I know that I deleted you from my phone, yeah? But tonight I'm drunk dialing you from the depths of my inbox. And I know that we've only been seeing each other for 1 week, okay? But I'm pretty sure that you are the love of my life, mate. And I'm langers. Rotten, drunk, polluted, rat-ass, mullered, wrecked, and I want to have sex. By the way, my mum came to one of my gigs, right? The other day. It was really nice. I was like doing something with my degree and everything, doing these poems. And she said this was her favourite. Yeah. So I'm ratted, polluted, mullered, wrecked, and I want to have sex. And I should never have put you on speed dial, okay? Because phone sex on the doorstep of a chip shop is not sexy, especially when you don't pick up. And if you were here, I'd tell you that this isn't sick on my dress. No, I just spilled curry sauce and ketchup down my chest. Yes, I ordered everything with cheesy chips. And no cabbie would have me. And I know that I only live down the road, but after 6 tequila slammers, some sambuca, and then cider, your place, it seems that much closer and much cozier. So I start walking, and the pavement is a ship deck, and I'm giving it one of those drunk wobble gesture to audience. And I'm sure it's fine. If when calling you for the 16th time you refuse to pick up, it's okay, I'm just going to come over anyway, because nice day niceties have gone out the window. And it's actually your voicemail I'm talking to and not you. So I start ranting the following. Have you got another girl there? You never cared about us. It's your ex, isn't it? I can hear her breathing down the phone. I'm a psycho. I am a psycho. I'm a psycho. And then I burp down the phone. But I've eaten half a box of Tic Tacs, so it smells slightly like mint. And not waiting for a reply after 2 minutes. Remember the voicemail lady. Please press 1 to re-record your message, or is it press 3? Fuck me, now I'm just pushing random buttons, so you've probably got me saved for your enjoyment. Listen to me over your cornflakes. Go on, going, maybe we were just a mistake. Give up or hang up. One last attempt. Ignore what I just said. I'll be over in a sec because I've worn my good knickers, okay? This is my mum's favourite. Because I have worn my good knickers and I just wanted to get laid. But why in the world would you leave your heavy slumber, your nice warm bed for this drunken mess? So I call it a day. I end up at mine, it's around midday, and all I've managed to remove is just the one shoe. And I've got my hand in a petrol garage sandwich box, and I've got my head on a packet of crisps, and I've got a DVD of Titanic, frozen on scene selection, playing over and over and over and over and over and over like a dream. So technically I've woken up with Celine bloody Dion and not you at all. Oh, and that text from you. What did you want last night, babe? I was asleep. I go, whatever you do, mate, just do not check your voicemail. Thank you.
It's Laurie, innit? More! Come on! There's some over here, you know. There's some this way. Do you want to... Fine. By now, right, maybe your brain's going, okay, right, I've heard 6 people. That number 2 was my favourite. Number 3 was my favourite. You're probably working it out. There's so much more. Are you okay? Yes. Ronic.
I've got a shipwrecked heart, a pirouetting ravine, superfluous emotional morphine running up my spine. I walk with a pin under every nerve. Polar shifts in my soul, an internal compass in my psyche, pointing me home to sunburned necks coated in pickled spices of pain. As the free flood sewers narrowly flow by the newly opened 5-star Marriott Hotel, Mumbai. New shopping malls built with the bones of our parents, as their children drag ragged pillows through the streets to etiquettely wipe their nose, guilting the wasted foreign man into some change. As billionaires lounge in buckets of chilled air, munching on saucy Italian, the country is folding on its own corrupt fat belly. And the soil is red, red from blood. Or pan. A 20 rupee haircut and the wheel spins again. And the click-click-ching on the meter as the rickshaw hurries me away to my friends as we rule the long orange days of our teenage years. First kisses. Second kisses. And the day arrives in another state. Calm strength from God, infused in whispering air, deafening time with the sound of 1,000,001 hands trying to feed 1,000,003 mouths, scooping and shaping each mouthful as not to sin, as we incinerate our lungs from the incomplete carbon roadside combustion on the way to a market overrun with the day's deliverance of happy chaos and old friends. All right? Maybe one day, when my lungs are filled with air hotter than my blood. The day when my skin color is not one from a community, but one of a country. I will rise in that arid wind. I will dance in the cleanse of that monsoon rain, and I will beg the sun to melt the night and give me back my paradise. But my paradise lives in a place which no man knows. A place where time doesn't grow until first seared in a scorched silver sunset. A place where beggars are as common as the common sense of punctuality. And who you are isn't defined by who you wear, who you smell like, who drives you, but by when you wake and never again wish to sleep. Imagine a nation. Because imagination sometimes is all I have. My only ticket, my only brush, my only friend. So he and I will live forever in my India.
Ronic! Many styles. Charlotte.
Mic is slightly too big for me. This is a poem called Fabulous. rouge-lined lips, in the neon mirror light unforgiving. Every wrinkle lit high, each and every smudge outside the lines. Darling, you're fabulous. And I am. Center stage in industrial strength stilettos and layer on layer of rainbow soft silk strutting the same old stuff every night for their ready adulation. Darling, oh, you're fabulous. And I am. But some nights fabulous fades away in a blur of eyeshadow and affectation, and the cheap cracked mirror frowns back a bloke in a dress and some lipstick and precious little foundation. But darling, you're fabulous. And I suppose I am just ask the blokes who sneer in the street, what are you supposed to be, love? I would a queer like you know how to fight, darlings, I say. You wouldn't want to meet a queen like me on a dark street at night, and darling, sometimes I'm fabulous. But sometimes I think they're right.
Charlotte! Pardon? Phil, well, you need some time. Phil, for a minute. Have you not seen the style that I'm... Tell the joke. No, I'm not telling the joke that I told you, right? Sorry. No, it's not a bad joke. Cannibalism. It's Hayonnaise. Take it. Spread it among your 7-year-old friends, man. That sounded creepier. Sorry. Right. Is that enough time for you? Do you see? That's why I'm brought in, to get on with it. Right. Georgina.
Can you all hear me? He tells me he wants to sleep on sheets of satin. He tells me anything is better than the room he sat in. And that people keep telling him that he can't hide, when really it's a running he can't do. Gets out of breath after 5 minutes. All right, maybe 2. But hiding is where he shows true stamina. And that's what he's doing. It's been 4 days now. See, he wears all grey to camouflage in with the concrete floor, tells me to leave the curtains and lock the door behind me. This boy's name's Hakeem. His dreams made of white mansions and Bentleys, but has no keys of his own. Flew his home when they said they knew where his family lived. He'd miss his nan's sourdough bread and olives. Told me they would roll in a crew of 6. Got licked if he didn't steal. There was a leader, and yeah, Hakeem was a big man's bitch. Said the hitch started when he refused to pull a knife. The boy gave me his phone. I don't need to scar his life. But the big man told him, this is an order, not a request, and there will be mess if you don't slice through that boy's chest. But Hakeem's chest could feel his heart thumping, his conscience rattling, insanity knocking. He fled. So now I stay with him. He says if I do, he won't go back. He tells me about the time his dad rubbed chili oil in his eyes, and that he lost his mom when he was 16, but that he wouldn't bring her back because he's sure that one day that loss will help him. He wraps her cotton scarf round his shoulders as if it were holy. He tells me he feels safe with me. Hakeem, a tall, built young man, feels safe with me. So I fall asleep in his arms because he needs me to. And I tell him that if he ever needs to run, then I will pound my legs for him and lend him the breath, because I can keep running for 20 minutes. All right, 15. But we could race the birds and not stop until the only light we see is stars. He asks me, is that possible? And I say yes, because one day you will be incredible at running, and that will be because you're running towards something and not away. he exhales hope. And I have never seen anyone cry like that. Not sobbing, not weeping, just delicate. He tells me all he ever wanted was some guidance, but he was too afraid to ask. Didn't think he deserved it after his past. I tell him to leave history where it belongs and be the first not to repeat it. He tells me he wants to sleep on sheets of satin. He tells me anything is better than the room he sat in. I go to the cupboard, take out 2 cups and fill them with water, hand one to him. He raises it and says, this is to my future. Thank you.
Georgina. It's Jamal.
Yeah, that's a bit better. Can everyone hear me? Is my voice really deep today? All right. Basically, today is the 50th anniversary since Martin Luther King gave the I Have a Dream speech, right? So this piece that I'm about to do is kind of fitting within that theme, as well as you will hear it. London is falling. The establishment is absent. A broken radio sits on a constellation of chewing gum. A twisted aerial, a naked speaker. The radio stutters Tottenham, police, murder. The radio groans, father of 4. Chaos is the cult religion. Sermons of looting and amens of petrol bombs. That day, my Bible became a coaster. Baptized by the murder of Mark Duggan, the only spirit remembered other than the ones in their cups. The radio coughs. Teens take the roads. Nothing spreads faster than the leukemia of racial hatred. It crumbles the skeleton of community. Its diseased bone will cuff my wrists, and I will choke on its dust. The radio stops.
Jamal. Two more before we have a guest slot from one of our judges, right? I can't see you, but I'm assuming that you're all right from the vibe that I'm getting, all right? Maria.
That's fine, I'll just leave it there. All right. Yeah. We were always partners in crime, bunking off school to wait in line to see bands with long hair and guitars, clutching vinyl in basement bars. We met Carl Barrett twice. But you see, for me, that wasn't enough, because when I was 18, Pete Doherty was God. And if there was one thing I could be sure of, it was by 9 p.m. on a Thursday night, you'd find me stood in the Goose. Already drank a bottle of wine. Eyeliner thick, dressed up to the nines. We laughed at boys that bought us shots and told us we looked nice. Arm in arm, down the straight road of lights, past the girls in tight skirts with too much fake tan, past the heavy bass beats of DJ Luck and MC Neat to the other end of the high street. where the music is strictly indie. Most of it before our time. Carlsberg's 150, there's hair bigger and longer than mine on guys in skinnier jeans. We walk through the mist of smoke machines like no one could even touch us. The whole place smells of incense. There's Buddhas on every surface, areas of carpet where we lie down and trace our names into the ceiling as if it were our masterpiece, and me and Ben request the Smiths. And I predict it'll be this charming man, because it always is. So when I hear the opening bars of what difference does it make, I take his hand and we dance up on a podium, and still to this day we think of it and laugh and say, the look on your face, mate, was priceless. And Mel always kept me going. Always the last on the dance floor. She stopped me from slumping in comfy chairs like tequila didn't even affect her. Danced with boys in the centre of the room, kissed them hard in fluorescent lights, and didn't care who was there to watch. We stay till the lights come on. Move like waves outside to the street, a sea full of people not ready to leave, 3 a.m. now. Romford Market. The made-up stalls where we sat down when Edge was shut and the sun was coming up. It was all about being stupid and young, all about being kids. But I think I feel less grown up now than I ever did back then. See, back then, I was hungry for more. Chatting on benches past closing time, I was still making early doors, and we could put the world to rights and dance until the dawn, because there was nothing much we had to fight for. Back then, I had stars in my eyes. And time didn't seem so important. There was plenty of it to go around. It would be years before we had to settle down or make decisions people would use to define us. I don't have a pension plan. I don't have a mortgage. I'm not planning a hypothetical wedding or thinking what to name my children. I don't even have a full-time job. And I still want quite a lot of the things I did when I was 18. Back when I felt like I had the world at my feet, when I could dance to the Libertines without having to worry about anything. Mate, I just want to spend my days drinking tea and writing stuff down and speaking out loud and doing the things that I love. Really, I just want to be happy. Because I don't think people are happy enough. Thank you.
Maria. Right, look, on a Wednesday night, right? This is happening on a Wednesday night. Just think about it for a second. Do you know what I mean? Celebrity MasterChef. It's just not coming close. Antos.
My invisible friend is an insomniac. Dad was always in bed sheets or aeroplanes, Mum in the garden or sewing machines. Brother and sister, too old to play fight, too young for therapy, so I turned to Steve, who was invisible. He was the reason I never hit my head on the moon. And he was my cactus pincushion, spiking the dreams that I drank, and he kept me up all night with his prods saying, we're safe as long as we're awake. Let's be dinosaurs and eat vegetarians, or let's play God, and we'd splash moths trapped in the bath with tap water, watch them disintegrate in a linoleum tomb, and then we'd masturbate with Vicks Vapor Rub, and then we'd chew cakes we found in the soap dish, spit bubbles, gargle, choke, breathe. Steve assured me that I could be invisible, preserved from school permanently, from the cutouts of my hair, the left-hand bully hooks, the Cox dribbling biro in my physics book, the mock sex sessions at lunch break I spent bent over the concrete V, holding up the biology staircase, bummed by eights in blazers, face full of old yogurt, filmed by milkshaking chimps, held down and hurt by my schoolmates, who were telling me that I was the only girl in the place. And I'd return home and tell my mum, feed her plates of lies because I was porcelain with Bunsen burns on my skin. like marking someone has an exact science. But Steve told me never to break. I was safe as long as I was awake. I was in year 8, old enough to wear a blazer and regulation shoes, to cycle to school by myself and know that I wanted to love the teachers that gave me bad grades, and that I could even throw my heart as a hand grenade and leave someone amputated at this age, but none of this made the world a safe place. In my room, Steve spoke to me. He said, "I've seen your spine. It's candlestick anorexic. You're a wicked wax figure. You're melting, transparent, just like me. Keep going. Soon you'll be so invisible, and I won't even be able to believe in you." So I killed Steve with a gallon of mouthwash, burnt in a puddle on the floor, and I was no longer invisible. My dad, in his jet-lagged posture, picked me up, carried me to bed. In between him and my mum, I rested, back to when I was 3, crying for naked chests to hide in. But I still couldn't sleep, despite my parents telling me to think of deserts. I pushed my fingers into my father's meaty back, making camel humps in his dreams, tapping Morse code for "I just want to be safe," only to press out his tired response, "Are you still awake?" Thank you.
Yo! Antos! Is it? Right, so that's everybody once. Can we just have a round of applause for everybody just once, right? Mate. Right. Thank you very much for listening to the first half. What we're going to do is to kind of like give you like a, what do you call it, like a lemon towel of after the food of the. I planned it over there. It didn't really feel right when I came and said it. Stephanie's going to come and share a piece with you. Can you make a round of applause for Stephanie Dogfoot?
So I don't really write political stuff, but this one, I'm always thinking about it, so it comes out, but not very obviously in the writing. So before I start this, this poem's about colonialism, environmental degradation, endangered species, third world development, what else? Capitalism, but mostly it's about unicorns. The land of your best childhood memory was filled with butterfly farms and unicorns, a steep spiral road paved with waterfalls and rainbows, up to where your ears get blocked in the air, it's cold, to where the tea, it grows on trees, and green granite slopes give birth in the mist to pink strawberries. Yeah, you remember this. You have it on video. You'll one day return to the land of your best memory in a lorry driven by a man in a pair of lime green shorts. You'll not know this man, nor why he keeps talking. You'll not know why his lorry keeps stopping as it crawls up the road to where waterfalls roam with purple smoke pouring out as the engine moans. All you'll know is that you have to answer his questions, like, who are you, and why are you here, and do you mind if I smoke? You'll think back and remember that the last time you were here was when leggings were first in fashion. This is because you remember wearing them willingly. This is because you had a pair that was bright pink and sparkly. The mountains, they look different to you now, but you expected this. The slopes have a brownish tinge to them, but they're still cloaked in mist. The butterfly farms have lost their color, and the billboards are looking rusty, but there's still that same smell in the air, the one that reminds you of being on your way to somewhere. A mix of sunflowers and warm cappuccino from a time when drinking cappuccino was still considered a luxury. Your driver says, actually, this is not my day job and this is not my truck, and all this purple smoke means is that before we reach, we may blow up. On weekdays, I'm actually a trainer. I train mountains to sit and stay and not roll over, so people can put highways up, down, and across. I like to use a lot of positive reinforcement, a lot of good mountain, plus concrete for added encouragement. Oh look, a unicorn. And sure enough, a silver one is ahead for the trees, followed by a fleet of motorbikes and SUVs with rifles poking out. So you don't pretend they never told you. Don't act like you weren't warned about how it's gotten warmer here since those trees were all cut down, that casino in the valley in place of that rainbow you once saw, the extinction of the strawberries, and how the unicorns turned carnivores. Your driver says, when I was a kid, people said my brother was eaten by a unicorn. And how the unicorns ate the strawberries up and down the mountainsides and then started to go hungry and learned to eat the butterflies. Those butterfly farmers, they went a little crazy then, began to hunt them down, until the government, they made the unicorns a protected species and bankrupted all the farming towns. But you've never seen a unicorn get shot up till this point. You've always wondered what their blood looked like. And it's at this point in your journey back to the land of your best memory that you'll be stuck in a traffic jam in a ghost town in the middle of a valley as all the cars around you pause to check out this fallen beast, and your truck is pouring out yet more purple smoke and loose bolts are falling off, and you turn to ask your driver, why? And your driver's like, look over there. Yeah, that building. That used to be my primary school. We used to catch the Beatles on that one street light. And you'll try and imagine him, a boy, skateboarding past you in the same pair of lime green shorts with 2 Beatles and a plastic bag hanging from his wrist. Years ago, when you were 6 years old, thought all this belonged to you and that you would forever be the first and the last person to ever discover it. Thank you.
Stephanie Dogfoot. Right. Here's where we synchronize timepieces, watches. Why didn't I just say watches? This is where we synchronize watches. Basically now, it's 8:25 by my trusty steed. So 10 minutes, we're going to have a break. Please use the loo, grab a drink. 10 minutes, that means 25 to 9. Back in here, please. Thank you very much. We're here. Are you here? Yeah. All of you, though. Because I can blatantly see some of the aren't here's. Hi. Okay, we'll give them 2 minutes, right? Did you just hear Sylvia give me the order? Let's go, let's go! Right. You sure? We're missing a judge. It's a tight ship that we run, right? Whew, so tight. Phil, so anyway. How about those anniversary games? I got nothing. Is she there? You stole their pens in the break. Is that real? Did they really steal your pens? They're just on the floor. Right. Sylvia's on it now. Sylvia's frantically running now to try and get Zena. Hi, Zena. Right. Good? You all right? Yeah. It's kind of a rhetorical question, right? Okay. You ready? Yeah. Streamers? I love that. What if my mum's... sorry, Mum. Right. Christopher.
Yes. Hello. Right, I'm gonna do a poem that I wrote. It's always good, isn't it? You should do those. This is something. When I was younger, we had a caravan, just a little caravan. I called it Johnny. Okay. This is something I've written called Johnny the Caravan. Where does Johnny the Caravan go when he's not being used? He's gone to see the Pyrenees in Jamaica and Peru. But where does Johnny the Caravan sleep when darkness hits the town? He's gone to reside by the riverside in his favourite dressing gown. But what does Johnny the Caravan do to pass the time of day? He eats lemon curd and sings the absurd to the birds that pass his way. And what does Johnny the Caravan dream in the middle of the night? He dreams of purple anteaters on carpets taking flight. He dreams of fountains dripping with custard. He dreams of the softest bread decrusted, of carpet infants spoon-fed mustard. He dreams of a world unrushed, unflustered. Then he starts to cry. He dreams of fleas holding a titan on skis, going down hillsides made of cheese with chocolate arms, covered in bees, phoning from Suriname on a hazelnut breeze, carrying keys that unlock trees and singing through the earlobes, eyes and knees with the Pekingese who swings the trapeze while standing on the back of a chimpanzee, and they all sing, "Go, Johnny, go, go, go! Go, Johnny, go, go, go! Go, Johnny, go, go, go! Go, Johnny!" That's when Johnny the Caravan wakes, when the humans have arrived. They hitch him up to their four-wheel drive and take him off to a bleak seaside at Weston. Super. Meh. Thanks.
Christopher! It's all right, innit? I'm kidding. Antos!
And hoping that we are stripped back and bare so that we are seen for what we are, but do we really know what we are? We are paradoxes, paranoid when happy, We are the neon jawline of the forgotten movie star sign. We are battered by our own pancakes. We are the arachnophobic acrobats who have lost their extra limbs. We are the acid-flavored bandages closed up on open wounds. We are so damn backwards. We are the bedsitters, tired to be awake. We are the vampires, making alarm clocks, hoping that they will break. We are the crumble zones in the lonely space. Sorry for staying alive. Sorry for our songs, the jagged verse with the rhythm drops. We are the depression lyrics bent low to the downbeats, because everything around here is so highly strung, I trip on violins everywhere I walk, and wish that my horsehair feet wouldn't sweep up such violent dust in this place, here at the back of the library, where I'm drowning in beanbags, amongst the words of others, educating me to be hollow. While me and everyone else are waiting to fill this world up, this world where others will hold the hands of the short-circuit people, drawing electric sketches in their skulls like they were born to kiss our nature. And we can be alone together, wearing our Technicolor anoraks, washing the raindrops on our backs, because we only see life for the rain and feel flooded, washed up in a tapped well where the wishes for what we could be went to someone else. We don't love our ripples. We settle in earthquakes. We have forgotten our molehills, desperate to conquer the mountains. We are the thick-skinned rhinoceros, sterile, unlistening, and so damn horny, longing for the alarm bell that will wake us up to crack the dawn, when we will know that we are rituals, consequences of what we are and what we hope to be, even if it is only to fill this lonely space, and then understand really what we are. Thank you.
Antos! You're just smiling right in the middle, just smiling the whole time. Just feel like, I like it. Thank you very much. Right. Ronic!
I come from a town where the people look brown, talk black, and act white. And a generation of education that taught me that all I need to get by is a C. And this town is a collection, sorry. This town, oh wait, no, sorry, I'm so sorry. And this town is a big shoes, but little steps town. Of people who walk down the street to avoid the street light. Of people who don't know which side of the road they're really on. A displaced generation. The ones who never grew up in the land they come from, because money speaks louder than words in this town. And it's a little bit of hypocrisy that there's no jobs. And those that are advertised only want to attract the eyes of those with a life that is full of experience. But when your life has been divided in between playing football in the park and taking care of your nan, it's suddenly a very long walk to that interview. Just long enough to experience the disguise of a proper person living a proper life who has always paid taxes and has never been to jail, has always stayed away from drugs and unmotivated. But as he sits down in the giant's den of ink and men with suits and ties way more expensive than his Primark laces, he suddenly thinks to his dear nan and new family of 3. And holds on to his chair for dear life as they fire the questions of commitment and make him jump through red hoops of shame because he needs this job to help offload the recent inheritance of a mortgage. But the boss man don't see that. So he's been rejected from 28 jobs on the basis that stereotyping isn't a factor they type on a sheet. It's a factor hiding somewhere in people's eyes, like a filter on a camera that warps what you see. And suddenly, all black boys are gangsters and all Muslim teens with beards walk around with baggy jeans because they're all carrying a bomb. All Polish guys can only be builders. Indians are born to be doctors, not actors. And you see, you should never hire a white girl because she'll soon ask for maternity leave. This town is a collection of cut lives that are way beyond Band-Aids. The only thing that will keep this town alive is love. And there is so little of it to see under these sad sodium lamplights. It either shines bright like a torch in the public eye, a fairy tale marriage, a prince is born, or it's barely staying alive behind closed doors. And yet, in this melting pot of colors and creeds, there's people cutting at me if my girlfriend's white or my best friend is black and gay, but didn't the Black Eyed Peas once say we gotta have love to set us straight? Why can't it be in this town that we can walk up to a complete stranger and say, I don't know you, but I love you?
Ronic! Wednesday night, my friend. Wednesday night. It's the new Saturday, Thursday. Charlotte.
"50 years ago today, one man had a dream of one day standing in the Capitol and hearing freedom ring like thunder from the Colorado Rocky Mountain sides, like a new wind blowing through the upstate New York pines, like many colored voices speaking out for all of us, as clear as one small woman's voice did once on an Alabama bus. And now we need to hear all of our voices, because I have heard so many people say, you don't know, man. You can't talk about race if you're not black, or feminism if you're not a woman, or LGBT rights if you're not gay. But if we create a reality where our voices can only speak out against oppression that personally concerns us, when they come for me, aren't I going to be standing here lonely? Because didn't Martin Luther King himself say, many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny, that we cannot walk alone. And it doesn't matter what country we call home, not one of us was born guilty, any more than the Aryan babies in Nazi Germany were born with gas chambers in their smiles. Look, my dad's family come from Donegal, and the hillsides in that part of the country are scar-lined with famine walls, but I don't have those same scars here on my body. I cannot carry my ancestors' anguish around with me. Old pain, like old guilt, is too heavy. And the risk is that if we carry old anger like chains round our hands, we can never then reach out for anything. If we keep our lungs tightened with second-hand hatred, then how can we hope that they'll sing? And if we think we're somehow honouring days of old when we use our country's flags as red rags or as blindfolds, then we're wrong. And there is nothing wrong with feeling love for your country. For me, it comes from standing as far north in Ireland as it is possible to go, where the crash of the slate-grey waves on the shore is a rhythm that beats through my bones, and it's a Belfast pub and a guy in a flat cap rasping rebel songs into a microphone. But that's just the version of human that I know best at home. And we can call it all kinds of things. Love or hope or justice or equality, but what it comes down to is as simple and extraordinary as common humanity, because it doesn't matter what country you call home. We are not going anywhere as one race or one nation alone. And we will never honour a dream, even if the words of the dreamer are now 50 years in the past, until all of our voices are raised up singing free at last. Free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Charlotte! Right. See, we've got a completely different. Everyone I can see the face of is kind of like now, kind of like a knowing kind of smile. Yeah, yes, I'm on the front row. I know it's good. It's good. Everybody else is kind of gets to hide. Right. Sorry, that was selfish. Nicola.
Can I make this shorter? I'm too weak. Thank you. That's great.
This one's about the Olympic legacy. always in the name of greatness, a greatness that's insatiable. Retreating back down the Thames to the heart of darkness, overwhelmed by the starkness of these rainy British days, by the steel and the glassiness of Canary Wharf, that capital of capital, where Thatcher began it all, where trickle down turned into look around and see instead the gated communities, the tales of two cities, where the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, and they're still living blind to each other's world next door, where we forge broken ties out of speculation, so that debt becomes the word that defines our nation. We've all taken part in this mass creation of a desperate, hungry credit generation where we borrow from the funds of our children's education. But the debt lies deeper. It's a debt that seeps out of something called national pride. We turn our backs on now and look to 1945, to our finest hour, to that sweet nostalgia where we knew how important it was to have something to be proud of. And so we swallow the doublethink and remain suspended between past and present and time unended. Or Britain. Like the Greek god who devours his children one by one, you keep us in arrears, always trying to cling on, always trying to catch up even if we feel it's wrong. But a prophecy is a prophecy, and a prophecy by its nature is fulfilled, and we can avoid another riot if what we're trying to build are real ties between each other and with the present, instead of looking back in time into other classes with resentment. Is this the land of heritage and history? Because it seems to me that this legacy is lost in a matrix of CCTV. And those Olympic rings are circling more than a stadium. They circle our skin and we stand in the shade of them, still told to keep calm and carry on as if someone's invading them. But I was told that the walls came down the year I was born. So why am I still kept back by wires stretching 12 feet tall? A patchwork pattern stretches out in zones below. An assault course of grey, punctured with danger of death by electric shock yellow. And I recognise that effect, don't you? Let's just call it the Enclosure Act Mark II, where the common land is privatised, and the territories are marked under threatening skies. The fences glimmer in the shadow of high-rise, and the reflections shine back in our eyes as we retreat inside ourselves, as we learn to despise the strangers who press in on every side. Can't you see we're atomised, self-contained, free from bother, without any real sense of responsibility towards another, and all roads lead eventually, not to Rome, but inevitably to the Westfield Stratford retail city. This globe of commerce, oh, what a thing of beauty. To bypass completely the local community. You don't see the crumbling precinct. You can turn your eyes from poverty because here, old is old news and we specialize in novelty. And I've been there. It's so bright it hurts me. In its violent attempts to pull me into ecstasy, I can feel it pulsing from the people next to me, feel it spread, trying to alter my identity. But if you look at ecstasy, etymologically, it's about being beside yourself, outside yourself, to be, for a moment, someone other than yourself. And isn't that what's needed to create a legacy? To feel a sense of responsibility, to sympathise and empathise and criticise and recognise a place where we want to spend our lives.
Nicola! All right, just for anybody who's wondering, real. Ben.
Isaac Newton invented gravity, everyone knows that. He sat alongside the highest branch of a tree, cross-legged, childlike, musing on how weird it all was. While reaching down to pick a fruit already yearning upwards, he realized what was missing. He tossed the apple high above him, resigned to watching it float tortuously away, like most of his good ideas in those days, juggling with scarcely fathomable formulae. Then, precisely at the moment of conception, he plopped to the ground with the graceless ceremony of a nickel in a slot machine. Adam ate it, it smacked our Isaac on the crown, and Steve Jobs sold it to you. Gravity, man's first disobedience. Things went well for a while. Getting around was a lot easier, and Isaac and his friends bought each other shoes to celebrate. Buildings went up and stayed down now. Trampoline sales increased exponentially, and the sea found its place, no longer just a huge, inconvenient raindrop. But like any stroke of genius, things got out of hand. People grappled with designs that Isaac hadn't planned. He knew he'd born a fickle monster that they couldn't understand. Delusional in their conviction that things always land feet first, butter side up. They were sprinting before they could even crawl. He tried to stall what he foresaw, tried to recall a product flawed for its complete monopoly, but there was no clause for opting out, which they seemed to have forgotten. He regretted his invention lacked an on-off switch or safety catch. He snatched a breath as his new history folded like dominoes before him. Dominoes that never fell but only flipped before him. He saw pennies drop. Bodies thick with knowledge plummet lone from library windows. Planes crash and towers crumble. Lands slide and swallow people. Bombs sail and harbor evil. He was a terrorist. He knew. The original disaster from which all other disasters grew. He wanted to undo it. He knelt and hammered Control Z with his fists into the earth, choked by a curse. They'd never learn, he said. A prototypal Spider-Man, power and responsibility colliding in his mind like two slabs of enriched uranium. He couldn't see then, though. By calculating his descent, he'd assured his elevation, like a propane flame through the halls of fame of science's greatest accidental inventions. Because for everyone that falls, there are 1,000 books in 100 arms climbing the library stairs on his behalf. For everything that crumbles, there are monuments erected in defiant celebration. For every slip and broken bone follows 80 epic baseball catches. It made the sky a place to aim for. Made Buzz Aldrin and Felix Baumgartner not just normal blokes. It made 1 million kids look at the moon wanting nothing but to try it. We need the speed of our flying dreams. We need gravity to defy it. Thanks very much.
That was Ben. Right on time as well. It means nothing to you. I'm very pleased with myself and the level of skill that I'm operating with. Thank you. Damola.
So Jamal and Charlotte both spoke about Martin Luther King's 50th anniversary of the I Have Dreams speech, and I was at the South Bank today, and we put on a show commemorating that, and it's still going on, but I'm here, obviously. And for the past 6 weeks, we've been working with Kat Francois. She hosted the first heat, if you were here, and yay, someone knows her. And this is a piece I wrote in that space. How many people, just show of hands, who know Olaudah Equiano? Couple people, literally a couple people. Okay, cool. Brief history. He was a slave, came to England, bought his slavery, wrote an autobiography. This is it definitely is about him. It's called The Torment of Olaudah. In Master's basement, 2 levels below the ground, through the Indian rug, the wooden floors, the hot red brick, I can feel those eyes. Digging holes into my skin, the color of soil. No. Dirt. Nothing can ever grow here. Things come here to die, except me. The tick-tock above my head whisper vicious little secrets to Master, Mister, the man, the male, about extra slices of bread I hide under my pillow, or missing bottles of milk on days when salt from tears and sweat scratch the insides of my throat, or the way I look at some of these cotton women who begged to be picked by hands purer than mine. And those eyes. Those eyes, they won't stop watching me. Their whites and blues follow my shadow hue through the house, boring holes into me, making I could become a whole man. A master, Mr. Man, male of a man. Those clocks would stop telling false tales, and those eyes would not follow me through the house. Or my wife through the street, or descendant through the store. If only I could wash myself European. this torment would be no more. Thank you.
Damola. Just say like yeah if you're here and you know somebody who's sat behind me, please. Right, just treat them later or something. Do you know what I mean? It's out of order. Alister.
Nothing makes me want to smoke like visiting the doctor. I should explain, I spend a lot of the time at the doctor's because I have eczema, which is a condition that most 4-year-olds have forgotten about, but I still have. And I was there yesterday morning and this happened, so sorry, it's from a book. Nothing makes me want to smoke quite like visiting the doctor. They make me want to roll a whole bag and smoke it through a stethoscope until I'm off the chart, so that when they ask me, and are you a smoker? I can raise my glazed eyeballs, pausing for breath at their morgue-like profile badge and cough dust and capillaries all over their sterile, expression-free office, infecting the replaceable sheets and turning the hand sanitizer brown. I want to be the smoker they showed me in PSHE and in countless adverts on TV. I want to smoke a beating cigarette and have my veins spill out goose fat as a baby coughs just by looking at me. When the surgery door opens, I want smoke to billow in after me like I'm some sick, apocalyptic contestant on Stars in Their Eyes. Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be a smoker, but not on a casual basis like Dylan or Bukowski. I want to be the warnings they put on the packets that serve only to stress me into smoking more. I don't want to just be out of breath when climbing the surgery steps. I want to be exhausted into buying straights because rolling takes too much breath. And when I exhale, I want to hear the voice of death in a blue drum suit, tap dancing on my breath to a Marlborough flute, played through mustard peg teeth and stinking gums that rasp out propaganda from raisin-sized lungs. And when they take my blood pressure, I want the band to burst, as if I'm going to, because if I'm going to be judged, I'm going to make sure I'm the worst, so that when they look at me all concerned, I'll know that I've earned it, because my tonsils have become a lighthouse in the constant fog of nicotine and condescending looks from joggers. And when I die, my ashes will not be allowed out in public spaces. They'll be held at least 6 feet from the bus stop, and the cremation will be filtered free from non-smoking guests. After all, it's not fair to have all that oxygen in here. We should be able to choose what we breathe, and we choose tar. And the ability to concentrate, and we like how it makes our pupils dilate. So if this furious rant has left you irate, just be assured that they won't be rasped for long. Because I am a smoker, and I'm definitely wrong.
Alister! Right. At this point, anybody who's ever been in some sort of performance competition will know that if you've already done your bit now, you're just chilling. Right? And if you haven't, you're not chilling. Right? It's the anti-chill. Georgina!
You can hear me again? Yeah? DLCP. I met Death the other night. A shy young woman, draped in pale skin, thick-rimmed glasses, black hair, block fringe. I read a book a day librarian turned post office clerk. She stationed the back of a grey, black and white room where an angel had been called to collect her post. This was the death letter collection point. In the drudgery, I mouthed to the clerk, "Should Angel be here?" She peered up from her book and over her glasses, nodded, smiled, and continued reading. The first block of colour was the envelope, slid under the gap between the glass and the desktop. Red, never looked so dull. Because letters of death have no place in the hands of angels. For dead is not a word that describes even death herself. And before I could catch a glance, the letter snapped out of Angel's fingertips. Knowing that one can't metamorphosize something that has already been eternalized, the letter transformed itself. No longer would it be an object of instruction, but something higher. So it unfolded its creases and wrapped its red shell around its newly folded shoulders, and all that could be heard were the papery whispers of change, and it grew. Bigger and bigger and bigger, rustling mid-air until an explosion of 1,000 pages tore their way out of the envelope, leaving it to float to the floor. An empty chrysalis of a letter evolved into a leather-bound book, landing with a thud beneath the librarian's nose, and with a new story in its wings. Thank you.
Georgina! Wicked, right? I think it's. How you doing, judges? Sweet. Jamal.
Oh, I have to. You have to. Oh no.
I reckon his voice is so deep they can hear him on the internet.
I was hoping so. All right. Hello. Okay. I haven't slammed for. Wait, last time I slammed was when I was 14. So about 6 years. Oh, time. Am I running out of time? All right. No. I'll just jump straight into the poem. But yeah, basically, I haven't slammed for ages, so I'm gonna do something completely new for you. Does that sound good? Yeah. Okay. Adolescent tongues buzz towards the flowers of foreign lands. Like bees collect pollen, we gather colloquialisms. Pick ripe phrases like celebrities pluck orphans from impoverished lives, ignoring the taste of race. Still, we choose carefully, make them our own. We loot these jewels for our queen bee, English. Our slang is honeycomb, made from the nectar of countries distant from home, and we smell foreign cultures as we spit out words that will never run dry, too dark to be inked in the dictionary. We buzz to the rhythm of the colonies, the lyrics of America, the songs of the Caribbean, the sun-filled joy of Africa. We make them our own. We loot these jewels for our queen bee, English. Yet you dismiss our groundwork, dust the shreds of our words with disapproval, squeeze the saliva from our tongues and bend the honor from our stripes, remove our colors, because through your blind eyes, there is only one nation in the making of honey. We speak in slang like this because it has grabbed me, an automatic ritual. Sound octaves have wired my brain to take up space in my consciousness, to transform me. I now hear music in silence. This one's a banger. Release your anger. Who's the best? My Brumboonies will give you the answer. All the suit-wearing guys in the cities don't stand us. They don't understand us when we speak in slang like this. Grime, 140, hype. I remove the headphones. Its remnants drips from my ears like molten gold, but no rich man values it because grime is a culture. Its lifestyle alters your blood cells and delivers a cherishable syndrome of Tourette's. My tick being, you get me, brethren, cuz, brethren, fam, brethren, see we speak in slang like this, and I can still taste the shock on tracks. electrons on my taste buds, ionizing my breath in the regurgitation of my idolized icons because I am a grime kid. So allow us to invest in a moment of psychological liberty, flout atomic limits inspired by oral dexterity. See, you cannot bind us as violent bass lines pound your skull in a held use of elegant profanity. See, it is a genre that is misconstrued, taken through the ears of the wealthy, filtered by the earmuffs of stereotypical analysis, but still, we inject it into our bloodstream, allow it to manipulate our heartbeat and circulate the music of now, because this one's a banger. Release your anger. Who's the best? My Brum Goonies will give you the answer. All the suit-wearing guys in cities, they can't stand us. They don't understand us because we speak in slang like this.
It's Jamal. Two left streamers. Maria.
All right. My days are exactly the same as everybody else's. They're 24-hour slots that take up my time. My days used to make me feel safe. First puff on a cigarette. A district line carriage in year 9, we spent our summers chasing light because we had to be back before dark. £2 on a child day travel card. 80p for a bag of chips. Mix always looked the eldest, so she bought the drink. 1 WKD between 3 of us. But then we grew up. Traded Panda Pops for vodka shots and Essex Parks for London pubs. We hid our demons in our bras and sniffed them off of toilet seats until the stars were gone, until the clouds rolled in. Daylight brought the shame and sin. In the haze of what we built, I hid and prayed that it would be enough. I didn't see that time would stop for no one, not even us. And like the dust that falls and clings to long since gone, forgotten things, we fell and lay in silent days that followed these incessant nights. I fight for new beginnings. Roll the dice. If I could just turn back the time, I'd reclaim all that was taken. I'd keep my innocence intact and find the sense I must have lacked to feel those unfamiliar hands. If I could just turn back the time, I'd never understand the reasons why people shiver in cold rooms or hide away from the light. But I got stuck in that room once. I couldn't see past the smiles to the truth once. And to the man on the bus, wearing far too much Paco Rabanne that spanned to the place where I sat at the back and said, "Do you want to sort your laugh out, love? Don't you ever shut up? Fuck you." As if anyone could ever laugh too much. And can I ask, when was the last time you opened your mouth to find no sound would come out? You can shout as much as you like on the 25 back to Ilford, mate, that's fine. I just hope if you ever wait to find your tongue tied or lips covered by invisible hands, you'll understand the reasons why I make mine bounce off the walls and into a land of my dreams. See, for a while, I lived in my nightmares. Because it was there I got what I truly deserved, and no one could say that I wasn't to blame. I just paid for mistakes in the darkness. My days, they were blaring with silence. I wondered if I'd ever find my words again, because giving them away only left me drained in navy skirt and crisp white shirt. Amid shaking of head, eyes lower to the dirt, I kicked into dust to cover the hurt. And Maria, you must. Well, I'll never break a promise again, no matter how hard they tried to make me. They said I was young, but I just felt weak. I tried to explain, but I couldn't speak. And I'm no longer stuck in that cold, dark room, but I'll stick to my nights to stay sane. I'll play with the words that sent you away and left me in this impossible maze. I still don't believe I deserve to escape, but anyway, it only stands to reason. I'll only feel safe in my days again once I've put you to bed with my demons.
Maria? Last person. You ready? Laurie?
All right, bloody hell, I nearly knocked the table over then. Okay, it's been a really, really shit year, and we've all had them. So this is called Carrot Mash Tea and Bill Bailey, and it's about making someone, or trying to make someone feel better. He's watching that Bill Bailey DVD again, but we all watch comedy in a crisis, don't we? Try to turn our mind off or take comfort in making the other one 100 cups of tea and spending whole days in our trackies. I tell him, look, mate, you're going to feel much better if you quickly jump in the showers, seriously. And I go downstairs and I make another bottomless cup of tea because a cuppa and a chat fixes everything. That's something my mum used to say to us a lot when we were little. Well, I want someone to plop me into a full teacup, stir it up and dissolve me in, because a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful way. I will hold your hand, mate. I've had so many flowers that we've run out of vases, she says, as she forces out another dazed, happy smile and reaches for the household teapot. And we sprinkle some stones into the bottom to help hold the flowers up. Who's for tea then? Well, I want someone to tell me a story, okay? Because there's a photo of her in the middle of the buffet table, but nobody knows where to start. So we whisper in small talk, play the part, lean awkwardly through lack of chairs, and talk about how the weather's held out, whatever the fuck that means. But these days, we hold it together by boarding tube trains, making phone calls to your mum on our lunch break, like, how are you doing? Yeah, we're okay, mate. I say that I'm going to cook us a nice meal tonight, a kind of rescue remedy stew scenario, you know, some sort of stodge, seriously, like carrot and swede mash. Get some vitamins inside us and really perk us up. So I asked the bloke in Sainsbury's with the orange fleece and the gelled ginger hair. He's reducing bags of broccoli by the fridge. I go, excuse me, mate. I don't know if you can help me, but I'm actually looking for carrots. Oh, yeah, we haven't got any. Sorry, he goes. You've got to be joking. Like, not even like 3 or something. Can you not check out the back or anything? Because to be honest, I was meant to make this carrot mash tonight and it was kind of meant to fix things. And I know that you don't really get it, but it was not meant to be like this. It's the little things that set the big things off. I can hear my mum saying it. It was when he suggested parsnips in the nicest possible way, mate. That is not the same, I say, as snot runs down my chin, mascara eyes like squashed blackberries, and I look around and I see that they have star anise, okay? And I'm like, how the fuck can you have fucking star anise and no fucking carrots? I wanted to fix things. Fix her. Fix him. And someone told me once that love is like 2 trees growing side by side in their own time and never leaning on the other one. That's lovely, right? But it never actually happens like that, does it? No. Love is wasps and grasshoppers, if you ask me. It's anger and it's stings and it's patience and it's finding the legs to jump into things and get stuff done. But today is another duvet day where we can read the stale news and stay indoors. We talk less now, but we do cuddle more. I remember when our legs did all sorts, and outside of our cluttered bedroom, the council are chopping back the crowded trees that line our street. There's far too many, so they have to hack them back to make more space. And as they drop one by one onto the pavement, I think pretty soon, mate, we'll be light and air again. It's like my dad used to say, it's all about positive thinking, mate. Even if you forgot to put your coat on, okay? Think warm and you'll be warm. Now stick that kettle on. Thank you very much.
Laurie! And everybody, can we round of applause for everybody? Wait. Wait. Right. See, I'm enough to add up all the scores and work it out while we present you with some performances from our judges, starting now with John Berkavitch.
Hello, my name is John Berkavitch. I look like a cross between Zach Galifianakis and Spencer from season 1 of Made in Chelsea. When I drink my water, people normally applaud. It's incredible. I recently became a father for the second time. Not for the second. I've recently had my second child. I've got 2 children. One is 19, one is 2 weeks old, which means I don't get any of the 3 S's, which are sleep, sex, and silence. I'm going to do your poem now. It's a story about when I lived somewhere else. Just quickly, where's the camera? You're right, Jim? That's not Jim on the camera. My friend Jim is watching elsewhere. This is a story about a guy I met when I was far away. I was sat in a bar when I met him, just thinking a couple of jars and thinking about the past, kind of forgetting all the things I wish I'd done but never did. You know, the chances I wasted, opportunities I missed. That was when this geezer walked in. He comes through the door kind of awkwardly, sits down on a chair right beside me, and I could tell he wants to talk to me because he's there. And he's staring with a smile on his face. So I turn around to face him, I'm like, "You all right, mate? Sorry, what, do we know each other?" He's like, "No, I don't think we do, brother. But when I came through that door, I saw you. And I didn't recognize your face, but the look on it looked familiar. In fact, a few years ago, my own face had a look pretty similar. I'm going to order a drink, and do you mind if I tell you about it?" I looked him up and down, and I doubted it'd take too long, so I was like, "Yeah, all right, mate, go on." Finished my drink, put the glass on the bar, and ordered one more. And as the barman finished pouring, I started my story. He started his story. I've gone wrong, what a bastard. He started his story. Turns out, a few years ago, he'd left his old life behind. Just gone away on a plane, flown off to find a new way of life that were better. Somewhere he could forget about all that shit from before and start again. So he moved around for a bit, and then he found a place we thought he might like to live. So he applied for a job, and it turns out he got it. But before he could start working for this particular company, first they sent him off for like a routine medical test. You know the stuff. They take a bit of blood, stick a finger up your bum, make you piss in a cup, all the rest. Just a routine screening for new company hopefuls, just to make sure they were clean. Anyway, a few weeks later he gets a phone call, and it seems that he's not going to be able to work for that particular company because his test results came back. And it turns out he might have something. Now, he never said exactly what that something was, just it's the kind of something that meant you might or might not be dead in 6 months. So naturally he went for more testing. And over the next few weeks, as he awaited the results, he started digesting the cold, hard truth that he may well be actually dying. Of course, he started by denying it. They must have made a mistake. There's no way this was happening to him. No way that it was all just going to end like this. Because when he looked at his life, it was like an endless list of things that he'd wished he'd just done a bit different, and a whole load of stuff that he'd never quite finished. And he'd always felt like his life was destined for more than that normal existence. He'd always felt like he was supposed to do something great. And whatever that thing was, well, he hadn't done it yet. So that meant that these doctors, they must have made a mistake. And that's when he got angry. First he got angry at the doctors, but that only lasted a short time, because then he got angry at himself. Because as he looked at his life, all he could see was all the things he'd never done. And he wondered why he'd wasted so much time and not just had more fun. And he wondered why he'd spent so much time regretting all his past mistakes and getting concerned about the future and all the things that were still to come. And then why had he been so stupid by not just seizing every moment? And why was it only now, when everything seemed hopeless, that he finally started to realize what should have been his real life focus? And that's when he started bargaining. And his argument was this: if God or destiny or chance or whatever it was actually exists, he'd make this solemn promise. If they somehow got him through this, he'd never waste a single second of his life ever again. He'd live each moment like it was his last, make every single second count. And the only thing he asked was that second chance. That chance to really live. And that's when it hit him. And he started to slip into depression as he realized his fate. This was it. It's too late. He'd never do that thing that would make the whole world know his name. He'd never do that thing that would make him truly great. And that knowledge, it quickly drove him crazy. And every night he'd stay awake, and every day he'd get more crazy, because lack of sleep, it made him hallucinate. And as he told me this, even though he had a smile on his face, you could see in his eyes, he'd been in a dark place. He said, "Yeah, I mean, of course, I can laugh about it now for sure. But at the time, man, I was so crazy. I used to think I could hear animals talk. I mean, this one time, I was walking around this part of town I didn't really know that well, and I turned this corner and sort of caught the eye of this cat, and hell, this cat, it looked straight through me. And in my mind, as clear as fact, it said, Mortalus is dead. Calvaron is king of the cats." Now, I didn't really see the point in this part of the story. But he said that in that one moment, he'd been so far removed from reality that it all just became clear. And in that moment of clarity, he accepted it. The end is here. And he looked at his life, and realised that all the things he'd done were going to be enough. He'd had family, he'd had friends, he'd felt wanted, he'd felt loved. And maybe all those small good things had added up to something great. And he accepted he was dying. He accepted his fate. And not 2 minutes later, the doctor called to say, we made a little bit of a mistake. And as he told me this, he sat back in his chair and he laughed. So what about now? I asked. What? He said. Do I live each moment like it's my last? Make every single second count? Make everything? Well, no. Just kind of get on with it, really. You have to. At that moment, nature called, and I had to slip away to the bathroom. And when I got back, he'd left. So I finished my drink and went back home. And as I drove back, I thought about everything that he'd said, and I thought about my own life. And about how, even though his story didn't all make sense, and it didn't really have a clean ending, it still did seem quite profound. And I thought about how every decision I've ever made has put me to where I am right now. And there's no point getting caught up on the things that we can't change. We just got to live each moment for each moment, and each day for each day. And when I got home, my girlfriend was waiting, sat in our flat, on the sofa in the living room with our adopted stray cat. And I told her about this guy, and I told her about his story and how it didn't all really make sense, and it still seemed quite important. And I mean, when I got to the bit about where the animal's talking, even the cat was expressing a vague interest. So I told her what he'd told me, the cat had told him, how Mortalus was dead, so now Calvaron was king. And as I said it, my cat lifted its head and looked me straight in the eyes, nodded, winked, turned on its heel, and to my surprise, ran clean out the room, jumped off the balcony and into the sky, spreading front legs wide where flaps of skin formed wings that helped it glide away across the horizon. And we watched him go from the window of our flat, off to claim his new throne. Long live Calvaron, the true king of the cats. I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring him on. You carry on with what you did. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard from Stephen Polarbear Camden all evening, who's been with the Roundhouse Collective since 2009. Thanks. This actually was his last year. He's been replaced. So I'm going to bring on his replacement, if that's all right with you. He's going to do a little piece. It's my time, so I'm going to give it to him, because I'm generous like that. Ladies and gentlemen, Bogan Piasecki.
Yeah, hi. How's everybody doing? You okay? Right, yeah, so that's right. I'll be replacing Stephen. Mostly, I think, because I'm Polish. I'll just let you fill in the blanks in this one. I guess, you know, if you can get a poet and someone who can fix your plumbing in one tight package. So yeah, poem. Do a poem, Bogdan. Shut up. I often say I grew up in a communist country, but it's not strictly speaking true. I was a child in a communist country. I grew up in a country that had just rid itself of communism, and then this kind of huge tidal wave of Western culture came rushing onto us through you know, on billboards and shops and in the very strange cable package that my parents bought, which is mostly German. And we took us a while to figure out what was cool. Like, I got really into Dungeons and Dragons for a while. I will not apologize. It was awesome. But other things stuck for longer, like hip hop. I never became an MC, but I really like listening to hip hop, and basketball, which after I moved here made me a very lonely man. So this poem has to do with hip hop and basketball and other things, and it's underscored by a specific hip hop song, which I'm pretty sure you know, and you may be able to guess it from the title. And the title of the poem is as follows. That's just the way it is. Open brackets. Things will never be the same. Close brackets. In a room with custard yellow walls, my sister is sleeping, and a nurse is sweeping up fragments of a shattered light bulb. It smells of disinfectant, just like our school cafeteria, and it annoys me. Then I do not find this unpleasant. This morning, me and my friend skipped class. We sat on our basketballs behind a row of sex shops at the mini mall and wound back a cassette tape with a pencil to save the batteries in the Walkman I had stolen from my sister. We shared a pair of headphones, and we whooped at the same time when the slow, soppy piano riff got savaged by the beat. And we made like we knew the words. We nodded our heads sagely. When the lyrics started, they went, "I see no changes." And immediately the sun came out. And there were girls in the back doorways of those sex shops draped across them like string curtains, their outfits completely stripped of provocation by their manner. They joked under clouds of cigarette smoke and hot tea steam. They shouted at us, "You lost, boys. You're waiting for your mums." And their shops were dingy, dark and deep. But we had teachers to placate and a game of basketball to play. And we kept the earbuds in as we walked away. They laughed at us loudly. We turned the volume up. I see no changes. I wake up every morning and I ask myself, is something living, something self? My English was getting better. But I still could only watch the NBA on German cable. Und Scottie Pippen wirft den Ball zu Michael Jordan und beendet das Spiel mit einem Slam Dunk. Was not much help. But we had to know. Lyrics were currency to us. So no excuses. Tape out, pencil in, wind it back, listen again, try to discern the words for the whir of the number 8 tramway as you bubble and sway back to school. I see no changes. I wake up every morning and I ask myself, is life worth living? I was pretty sure that was right. I just hadn't figured out what came after that. No matter. The game that afternoon was perfect. Last quarter, they make a careless pass. Steal, lob, pause for breath, catch, one dribble, 2 steps, rise up, slam, land. Now, resist the urge to pound your chest. It's lame, man. You know the German pundits would not approve. Instead, just catch her eye as you run back to defense like it's nothing. Catch a whiff of the perfume from the morning. Catch your song blasting from the PA. I see no changes. In the custard yellow room, my sister is smiling with her eyes still closed. I'm fidgeting. The nurse finally leaves with his dustpan full of transparent eggshells. My parents, they just sit there, oddly angled pot plants. I stare at my high tops, and on the floor, near my right foot, there's a brown spot. Out loud, I say, I need a bathroom, and then I linger in the corridor. Like where they put my sister is a class I hate. Glass has sharp edges. Surely they know that. And she looks so pale and peaceful. Isn't that what they say? But it's not my problem, right? I have other mysteries to unravel, like what it is they made that perfume from, or what it is that he really says in that first verse. So take out the tape, whirl it in the air like a prayer mill, then stick it in the Walkman like a clip. Now here's that piano riff. Then deep like a chest cuff, here's the beat. Now listen, concentrate. What does it say?
Right, man. It's properly tense on the other side of the door, right? I'm not good in these kind of situations. Basically, we're going to hear from Zena, and then we're going to announce our top 3. Is that all right with you? Yeah. Right, thank you very much for listening. Zena Edwards.
Okay, right. I did this on the first slam here. I would like the audience to do a little piece of work now, a little bit of audience participation. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay, so when Berko hates this. When I say, you say, right. I know you hate it, babe. What's going ahead? It's happening. It's happening. Right, so I'm going to say ha 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 ha, and I would like for you to say ha 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 shum. It will make sense in a minute. I want you to imagine there's a kind of bashment groove happening in the background, because this poem is about laughter. We've just had carnival, right? So imagine there's like a vibe going in the background. So here we go. I'll give you an example. Ha 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 shum. Oh yeah, you guys know. Ha 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 ha. Lovely. Hey. Ha 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 ha. One more time, man. I like to bust up, crease up, bend up and I crack up, twist up and I mash up, bend up and I crease up, the laugh. I like to bust up, I crease up, bend up and I crack up, twist up and I mash up, bend up and I crease up, the laugh. It's like an instinctual itch, it's an electric tide. I'm loving this stitch, getting hot in my side as I It's like an instinctual itch, it's an electric tide. I'm loving this stitch, getting hot in my side as I The laugh, you got me howling like a wolf at the moon. I'm grinning like a field of daisies in full bloom. I'm laughing so hard I'm leaking from my eyes as my cheeks squeeze the water like clouds from the skies. As I bust up and I crease up, I bend up and I crack up, I twist up and I mash up, I bend up and I crease up. The laugh, ha 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 ha. The laugh, like all the leaves on a tree just flipping over in a summer breeze. The laugh with the energy of a tidal wave turning over and over and over in open seas. The laugh, it's a pleasure that comes for free, man. The laugh is good for your sanity. The laugh, you gotta do it so your heart don't freeze. Just do it so your heart don't freeze. I said do it so your heart don't freeze. Just do it so your heart don't freeze. So, one more belly laugh. So there's these two black girls, right? These two big, thick, beautiful black girls. Beautiful like daddy djembe drum. Deepness beautiful. They've got big gold earrings and summer hats with real flowers in. I'm smelling jasmine. And they laugh, chunky chocolate laughs between sips on pink cocktails, their teeth blotting out this bar's bling. They laugh and their bulbous amber and crystal necklaces bump on their voluminous breasts like kids on bouncy castles. And I want to be over there, a small child sitting on one of their laps, rocking and shaking as they laugh too gloriously loud over my head, like two big booming bass bin speakers sprinkled with that dirty cackle like the tweeters. You know how we girls do, yeah. I mean, I want to be over there, a small child not understanding their adults' talk, but just loving how it makes them laugh. They laugh, and it reminds me of hot chicken roti, giant pots of curry goats, callaloo, and carnival floats, and I hear the mellow cling-a-clang, clang, cling-a-clang, clang, cling-a-clang, clang, of steel pan rhythms tumble from their full lips. They laugh, and I want to be the breath behind their joy, the shine on their cheeks, their tongue behind their open teeth. I want to be deep in the belly of their elation, steeped in the deli selection of their raucous release. You see, they laugh and their hearts fly. Their laughter bursts rain clouds and shakes eagles from the sky. They laugh the pain away from past lives. They laugh the shame away his wrists and ankles. They laugh away the frustration, each bubbling exhalation a paving stone to their self-appreciation. They laugh the pain away from situations with really bad men who gave them nothing but really good head. They bust up, they crease up, they crack up, they twist up and they bend up. They put cocktail straws between their teeth, only have to make eye contact and windows shatter. They laugh and the sun bows to them, their summer hats with real flowers in them, and they're bouncing gold earrings and chunky amber necklaces. That's the laugh. Thank you. Thanks. You must do it, you must do it, you must laugh. Hey, hey, ha, ha. So yes, this is a poem I like to read because sometimes I need to, well, we've got this whole thing of the 50 years of the March on Washington, and people have talked about dreams up here, and this is another poemy, dreamy thing, dreamy poem song thing. And it's about that moment when we just really need to just switch off everything, you know, switch off all the electrics and just go and be in a space somewhere and just come back to ourselves, regroup, you know, pull ourselves from the way that we spread ourselves thin all over the city and just pull ourselves together and just remember who we are and remember what we want for ourselves. You feeling me on that? You know? Okay. Get the key right. Settle down, no more sorrow, sorrow, no more frowns for tomorrow, no. Just take your time, don't you run before walking, don't you run before walking. Sometimes I just like to come home and switch on the light inside my mind and review my day and rewind, and I find I'm standing in the glare of these harsh present times. It's then I am reminded it is a fool who is looking at the finger that points at the sky. And instinctively, reflexively, my soul will glide and slide and bide its time in the realm of the deep side, when life seems to categorically deny I deserve a bligh. That's when I say, take a breath, see. Big up your chest under the press of hard duress. Take your time to settle down. 'Cause it's only in darkness when you see light. You won't go under without a fight. And miracles don't happen overnight, but you must have your master plan watertight. So settle down, no more sorrow, sorrow. And no more frowns for tomorrow, no. Just take your time. Don't you run before walking. Don't you run before walking. You see, rich or poor, they feel the strain the same way if their heart and soul stray away from their dreams. And yes, it seems we will all suffer fools badly, because sadly it's the way it goes. We drop like dominoes if we forget to dream. So I say dream in technicolor, along the vibe lengths of rainbow beams, within the rising smoke of aromatic incense. I like to dream in African hues and Jews paid in blues tunes. And when I'm rolling with the UK Revivers crew, I'll dream of the streets of London and those who survive therein. I dream between fence gaps, bass lines, beats and boom baps of the streets and those who survive therein. But some forget the direct connection of their spirit's intellectual spectrum to those streams of dreams which are supreme intelligence when we're battling the elements of this cold, harsh world. So when your vexations take a high place on your list of priorities, I say, relax, man. Just take a breath, throw caution to the breeze. Because yes, I know we all want to rest at ease, and life is always going to be full of complexities, but it's only in darkness when you see light. You won't go under without a fight. 'Cause miracles don't happen, oh, must have your master plan watertight. So settle down, no more sorrow, sorrow. And no more frowns for tomorrow, no. Just take your time. Don't you run before walking. 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 Thank you very much.
Zena Edwards! Good? Right. I got a piece of paper with the names on, right? What I'd like to do now, just for you to say a couple of words, I'd like to invite Marcus up, who's the artistic director of the Roundhouse, and basically the guy who oversees the projects that go on that this is part of. So, Marcus, everybody.
Thank you very much. These guys. So, for anyone who's ever created something or made something, it's quite an awesome experience to actually share it with somebody else. To actually go and create something that's about you and then share it with somebody else, especially a packed room like tonight, and then in front of other people who are doing it all at the same time. I think it's absolutely something that takes my breath away. I've had tears in my eyes, I've laughed, and I've learned things about myself and other people tonight. And I truly say it's one of the greatest evenings I've had at the Roundhouse in my 14 years here. So, well done. I would encourage all of you to make. It's a great thing. Creating something, sharing it, creating it with others is what life is good for. You know, good life is about creating and sharing stories, making something together. And these guys have done us really proud this evening. I'm just here to extend the torture for them by talking a little bit longer. In the X Factor, they wait for about 30 seconds before they tell you, but you get me instead. There are some thank yous. There are a lot of people who make the work at the Roundhouse possible. There are funders and our supporters. Two of them can't be here tonight. That's Colin and Helen David. I was with them at the weekend, and they said they're really sorry they couldn't be here tonight. They're here last year at the Poetry Slam final. They've been fantastic supporters of the Roundhouse and are completely moved. The first time they heard some of the poets from the Roundhouse speaking at one of our big events, they said, this is what we want to support. And they've not only supported the prizes, but the whole of the Roundhouse spoken word poetry. So a big round of applause for Colin Helen David. Without our other funders who support our range of work from the Arts Council who are here tonight as well, and many of you who are here, our members, our supporters, and all of you who are not our members and our supporters, we'd be delighted to welcome you aboard as well. But tonight is about these guys, and also a huge thank you to these wonderful judges who shared their poetry with us tonight. To someone I've got the most amount of respect for, and someone who's given me great joy and great pleasure, and I think these guys will want to thank him a huge amount, to Polarbear. And a warm wish of good luck to his successor. They're tiny shoes to fill, it's easy, you know, it's no problem at all. It's no problem at all. But I think now is the moment we can actually kick me off the stage, or nearly anyway, to announce who is the winner and the second and the third.
Yeah, right, so if we go in reverse order, third place. Sorry, streamers. Sorry, streamers. In third place, Ben. There is a check coming, right? There is a check coming, right? Here, I mean, I've been here since 2009, and here's where it gets a little bit different, because for the first time ever, there's an exact tie, right? And what's happened is, like, exactly from going back to like when they were kids and stuff, it's an exact tie, right? So what's happened is, in the name of, this is about a numbers scoring thing, so people have decided that what's going to happen is the following two people are going to split the first and second prize money and rotate the cups in the name of it was exactly the same. Is that all right with you, right? So listen, joint, for the first time streamers, joint, Roundhouse Slam Champions of 2013, Ronic and Antos. You can now dance all night. Right, basically, thank you so much for coming and being part of this. Everyone's been amazing. If you want to say something to somebody on your way out, come and do it, because this is what we kind of feed off, the responses and your thoughts. Thank you very much for listening and sharing with us on a Wednesday night, and hopefully see you next time. Take care.